imagine you've got a lot on your mind right now with that. How is this time of year, this week kind of going for you?
It's been really hectic just between, being in Dallas and these meetings here, and then kind of making sure the U.S. team is kind of just about done, squared away. Tournament starts on Friday, so I'll be going over there on Sunday night. So yeah, a lot going on, but it's all good. It's all exciting. So
you have more draft capital, not just in terms of the number of picks, but the value of those picks than you've had in a while. Are you anticipating packaging those to move up, but moving down? I mean, where are you guys at with that right now?
it really depends on how the draft falls. I think that our job now is to kind of put together the best order that we see, or as we see fit. It's a step process. We build the list, we build the order, and then we come up with a strategy of how we want to attack that list. Every year is different with how many amount of picks you have. As everybody knows, we have the 3 picks this year. A lot of draft capital, as you said, so that allows you to do different things. But the first step is to get that list in order, because, like I said, every year is different, and then you figure out how you want to try to attack it. But we're in a good spot with all the picks that we have, that's for sure. We can try to do a lot of different things.
Jeff, do you feel like at 5, do you feel like there's more of that you want to draft what you need, or do you just want to draft maybe long-term what you may project to need later on?
We want to draft what we think is going to be the best player. I think that's always the goal. These are kids. Everybody knows we could probably use a centerman. There happen to be a lot of centermen at the top of the draft this year, so that could line up well. But really, the job is to order them as best we can. And those sorts of things come into play. Needs and things like that. But you're never going to go wrong with that, taking the best player.
I wanted to ask about Blake Fiddler. Obviously, a guy that has some familial ties to the organization. Good defenseman. Seems like someone that could be available late in the first round. Is he someone that you guys have looked at all?
We've looked at him a lot, yeah. Like you said, you make the connection right off the bat with his dad having played here. A little bit of a different story. He grew up playing in Dallas, and then he ended up in the Western League, and then he just played for the U.S. team at the U18 championships. So he's a good player, a good prospect. Certainly a coveted profile as a big right-handed defenseman. We're just going to see how it plays out. But he's a name we were talking about quite a bit this morning, actually. So.
And another possible later in the draft, there's at least one goaltender. Ravensburg, I think his name is. Is that a position that you guys are looking at the draft?
For sure. Yeah, I mean, we traded Askarov, so we would certainly at the right time like to bring in a top goaltending prospect. There's Ravensburg, as you said. There's a few others. There's some over in Russia and in Europe. Again, we've got all these picks, so there's a lot of different things you can do. It's got to line up as to how we see them, how we evaluate them, and where we think is the right spot to take them. But I would like to think that we're going to draft a goalie or 2 this year. We just got to figure out where and when.
It's kind of tough to see, like, hey, you have the Dards, McDavids, whoever that you want to name, because they all have established themselves now.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like this class has some stars in it, or do you think it's more just of the role players and those solid players for long term?
I think there'll be some top players that come out of this draft. Even you can say that it's not as deep or as good of a draft, however you want to call it. But there's always top players that come out of every draft. Maybe they come out later in the draft. Maybe there's a 4th rounder or a 5th rounder that turns out to be better than it's a Kaprizov or something like that. These guys are always there to be had, and that's the job of our group to kind of try to find these guys. And this week's a big part of that. So
Obviously, you're always going to come up with your list no matter what. But does it change to the cadence of the meetings change at all, knowing that at least as of now you've got 3 first rounders?
I think so. Yeah, I think it makes it. It just puts things in a little bit of a different mindset for you. Sometimes when you build your list, maybe you have a first rounder and then you don't pick again until the 3rd round or something like that. So you always try to be thorough and plan for everything, no matter what picks you have. But when you already have those picks in place, 2 late first rounders, and then you pick again right away in the 2nd round, I mean, you already have that. You already know that that's there. Whether you move those picks or not, is to be determined. But you got to do the work to determine that, and that's what we're doing right now. So whether we stand right pat where we are with all the picks, or we trade them, or trade up, down, trade them out the next year, whatever it is, this is all part of the process right now that we're going through, building the list, building out the strategy. So a lot of work to be done, but we're off to a good start.
I guess off of that too, are you seeing guys, I was talking about guys there, they see players all season, maybe they're passionate about certain guys, are you seeing that passion again?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Guys, they put a lot of work into it. You start in the summer, you go all the way through the year, all the travel, all the grind to get out and see these guys, all the background work of information that they do, learning about the players, and now you're just about done with that, and now it's the preparation part, and the guys are passionate about it. They want to do a good job. They've put a lot into it, and that's the way it should be. So you want guys to care and be passionate about it, and they certainly do. So we're in a good spot.
Obviously, you guys don't sign every pick that you ever make, right? I know there's a few guys that are due up, I think, later in August, perhaps. I know that one of the goalies that was taken kind of by Pekka's pick, I think it was Juha.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know if those are some of the guys that you might keep, or is he someone you might not sign? Is there any insight on that front?
Part of these meetings is going through a lot of different things. A lot has to do with the draft and building the draft list, but we do have organizational meetings as well, and that's what's good about having everybody in town. You're working on the draft, but you're taking time to talk through your prospects and talk through some different things and planning and those sorts of things. So we're kind of in the process of some of that right now, figuring some of that stuff out.
I want to ask about Igor Surin. He's kind of taken off in the playoffs. Got 5 goals in the playoffs after kind of a quiet regular season. I guess it's hard to tell with that league. But what have you seen out of him this year?
I'm really excited about him. I mean, it's exactly what we said about him when we drafted. You love to draft a player that has that top combination of skill, but compete, and he has both. And those are the kinds of guys that thrive in the playoffs. And I think that's why he's a young player, and he's playing in the KHL, which is an older league, so it's hard to get traction. The fact that he's played regularly and contributed is a tribute to him during the regular season. And now you're seeing him really get better as the games get harder, which is really hard to do as a young player like that, but it speaks to how competitive he is, and that's really what attracted us to him last year. Matter of fact, when we interviewed him last year, his agency had brought him over to Florida for a camp right before the draft, and one of the questions that we asked him was, because he's over in Russia, doesn't see as much NHL hockey. The Stanley Cup playoffs or finals were going on at the time between Florida and Edmonton, and we asked him if he had the chance to watch some of the games and stuff, and he just lit up, and he loved. Really, the aspect he loved the most was how competitive and physical it was. So it kind of speaks to what he's all about. So,
how do you feel about some of your college kids? I know that some of them were kind of fighting for the Hobie Baker this year in the scoring titles, Kalahara, Aiden Fink, and a few others as well. Just what did you make about their college seasons?
Both those guys were really good. O'Hara, took a big step, and I think that's kind of his nature. Even back to when we drafted him, he played in the USHL. Took him a year or two to get comfortable, and then he took off. That's kind of how he is. Did the same thing at UMass. You always knew it was there. Smart player, skilled player. Just kind of needed to get comfortable, and really took off. And I think you'll see the same thing with us. He'll get his feet wet here, and then I think he'll just get better and better. And then Fink, was really good in his freshman year at Penn State. He's got another high compete, high skill guy. That allowed him to transition very well, very quickly, and then he just took another step this year. So he's going back there for his junior year, and I'm sure he's got the aspirations to win that Hobie next year. But he's been great. So.
David Edstrom made his North American debut the other night. Carl Taylor was saying just how cerebral he is and intelligent in the questions he's asking. Any thoughts on what you've seen from him?
All of that. That's what's always attracted us to him. He's a very mature player, very well-rounded, very detailed. I think one of the things that we kind of said about him is that I can't really envision a coach not liking and appreciating him for everything he just said. Like he's for a young guy, kind of mature beyond his years and does the little things right. And I think that kind of gets you trust from the coaches right away. So it's good to get him over here. Good to get him kind of get his feet wet a little bit over here in North America. And he'll be ready to come over here and get going next season full time. So
Barry, to go back to last night, was just saying, sure, we would have preferred to win the lottery, obviously, but we feel like we're still going to get a really good player in the top 5. Is that fair to say? Hey, yeah, sure, we would have liked to win, but still a top 5 pick here.
100%. Yeah, I mean, I was saying last night, like there's things you can control and there's things you can't control. We had no control over what was going to happen last night. We're picking 5th overall, which is still a lot higher than we've picked lately, and we're going to have an opportunity to get a really good player. And I don't think we should lose sight of all the other picks we have as well. So we'll get a really good player at 5 and have a lot of opportunity after that. So excited about all of it and a lot of work to be done. So
I wanted to ask you too, as you said you're going to the tournament later this week, but T. Rogers, La Bologna are also there. How cool is it, to have them in the mix and just what they bring to your team over there?
I think it's great. I know Pete has done that stuff in years past. We've been in the playoffs for so long. I guess it's a credit to the organization how competitive we've been. But Pete did a lot of USA Hockey stuff back before we started making the playoffs, and I think he was really excited to do it again. And I know Law did it with Lavi years ago, maybe about 10 years or so ago. So when I knew we weren't going to be in it, I talked to Law about it a little bit. But I think it's great. I think it's great to have a little bit of Nashville flavor with the staff and then some of the players on the team. And I think everybody's excited. It's disappointing that we weren't in the playoffs, but I think one of the things for our guys and then just even for everybody involved with it, with the different players from different teams and what have you, it's exciting to have an opportunity to try and go win something, go try to do something on the international stage. So I think everybody's excited and certainly really happy to have those guys and Jeff Camilio, who's another Nashville connection. So I know Jeff and Pete are really excited to work together again. So yeah, it's all good.
Tom, what has this season been like for you guys? Because maybe early on you might not have been expecting to have a top pick, but as the season went on, and then obviously with last night, you now know you're going to have the number 5 pick. Has it been kind of, you had to change schedules around for scouts? Has that been kind of a situation, or what's it been like?
Well, I'll say at the beginning we didn't think we were going to be in this scenario, but by November I think we started realizing that it was we were going down that road. So by Christmas time, we knew we'd be probably picking pretty high. So we've been trying to figure that out. So.
I mean, so like in terms of like changing schedules, I mean, obviously you go check out a lot of different teams, but have you zeroing in on kind of a group of say 8 to 10 different guys and saying like, okay, let's focus on those, or is it more just general checking out as many as you can?
Yeah, in the second half, you're definitely kind of going after, especially if you're thinking you're picking in the top 10. You're trying to zone in on those type of guys wherever they are, wherever the Western League, Europe, or wherever. So yeah, definitely. We're kind of zoning in on who we think will be, in that top 10. So,
Tom, is there kind of, not to say that you do cartwheels, but obviously you want the team on the ice to win, but is there a little bit of like, hey, we haven't picked in the top 5 in a long time. Like, is there a little bit of excitement in that?
there's definitely an excitement, but the end goal is for us is to win the Stanley Cup. So it's a little disappointing. We've never really been in this situation before. It would have been nice to maybe get number 1, but it is what it is. We're going to get a good player at 5. We know that. So yeah, we're excited now, so.
Since Barry's is kind of taking over, he's talking about you guys taking swings. What does that mean for you guys, just kind of like take your swings? Just what does it mean for you?
We're just basically trying to get the best player available. Obviously, we all know defense and center is key. And there's both of those positions available. So, but yeah, it's basically trying to get the best player you can get to help our program to win a Stanley Cup.
We've also never had 3 first rounders.
No.
Does that ramp things up? Like, can you feel the meetings? Is there a little bit of a difference, or is it kind of the same? We're still looking.
Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, it's like going back. It's exciting. You can really feel like you're putting a stamp on the team, on the organization. So yeah, it's we're all just we want to get the best player. We want to start this process going with these picks. So
There's a couple of guys in the range of where you guys will be picking that have had to deal with some injuries this year. Roger McQueen is one, Anton Ferndell is another. I guess how much reporting do you get on those injuries? Do you guys get things like medical reports or anything, or do you just have to go with what you see on the ice when you see it?
yes, we do. We get medical reports, and we have the combine coming up in a couple weeks. So our doctors will be there. All the teams will be able to talk to McQueen's doctors. So we'll get all that information, and our guys have already kind of started that with those type of players.
And I think his injury was kind of like a back injury.
Back in,
yeah.
yes.
I mean, when you saw him in particular, like, I mean, did everything look kind of normal to you from the ice perspective?
It was pretty difficult because he barely played this year. We basically saw him in the playoffs, and the second game, Barry was at the first game, and then I came in and he was with me at the second game, and his back started to kind of seize up just from, hasn't been on the ice all year. But from what everyone's saying is it's not like a career type thing. It's not discs and stuff like that. So
Tom, as you kind of look at the landscape of how the NCAA and the CHL have been kind of clashing for players, I'm just curious, how does that change the way you guys approach scouting? Is that something you have to deal with, or does it not really change anything?
not really. I mean, we just kind of follow it, but I think it's been a good thing for both. Now you're going to get some younger kids going to the CHL, and then you're going to get some kids going into college hockey during their draft years. So I think it's good for hockey. I think both leagues they'll be fine.
I understand there were 170-some kids in the portal.
Yes.
I mean, that really confuses things.
Oh, big time. But at least at that point, it's kind of out of our realm, just because it's not for the draft. Most of those kids are already through the draft years. So, but it's a crazy time in hockey right now. It's guys are going everywhere.
Would you have a situation like on Drew Gardens where Anton Ferndell and Victor Egelman played together? They're both on the same team.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, those two. How do you differentiate? Okay, well, we think this one's the better one, or we think this one's the one that's actually driving the play. Do you focus on that a lot?
Our job is to basically try to take who we think is the best player and what our needs are. Both those players are hell of a players. So either one of them, you're going to get a very good hockey player that's going to play in the NHL for a long time. And then it's our job to just basically, all right, we like this guy, ahead of him.
What is the main goal of these meetings this week, and what do you want to have accomplished by the time you finish?
The main goal is basically to get our list kind of in order, and then we'll go to the combine. Do a lot of but most of our guys have already interviewed a lot of these guys, but then we'll get to interview them, get our list, and then after the combine, we'll do conference calls and just to kind of zone in on where these guys are going to go, like what round and cutoffs and stuff like that. But it's basically just to get a kind of a roadmap of where we're going.
How beneficial is the combine? How much more can you get out of that than what you already have?
It's good. It's good to just get in front of the guys and kind of just see them outside of the hockey rink and just see their. I mean, they're kids. They're young, so it's hard, but it's good to see them face to face. So it's good.